Welcome to The Constituent on Lipstick Radio. I'm your girl, Maleena Lawrence, and this is the Polytainment Report for tonight. Okay, check it out. We watched, when I say we, Kimberly and I watched to the best of our ability the third round, the final round of the presidential debate between President Barack Obama and Governor Mitt Romney. So, the takeaway, I wish I could give y'all like the whole takeaway and what I thought and wish I wanted to hear. I went to a debate party at Harold and Bell's. It was just, it just reminded me that we don't pay attention enough because we always talking. Too much talking and not enough listening gets us in the situations we are in now. Let me add reading. Too much talking, not enough listening, and little reading gets us in a situation where we are now, America. So, shout out to Bernie Mac, rest in peace. I'm just feeling him when I said, "What's up, America?" So, what I heard when I was listening to the debates and just thinking about what I heard before, and this was an issue that I brought up before, is that, during these debates and the opening, spending, I thought maybe some mentioning moments of the international relations. Tonight's debate, the final round, gave us a clue as to who was more savvy on a international tip, on foreign policy and foreign affairs, the difference in who's doing what and where, what wars are going on. America, we know we at war. We don't have to move far from home within the United States to know we're at war. And just like they kept repeating different things in tonight's debates, I'm going to say this again. We're at war in our cities. We're at war in our schools. We're at war in our prison systems. We're at war with teenage pregnancy. We're at war in our welfare system. We're at war in our environment, in our ecosystem. We're at war in, I said, educational system. We're at war, and with war, the opposite of war, as Mitt Romney pointed out, is peace. The only thing that is a concern in a flashing light, peace don't make no money, my brother. Quoted to me once by Sister Sonia Sanchez, who also heard that from another individual who's out there in those streets fighting for social justice all the time. We come to a moment such as this, a very serious moment where Michelle Obama, First Lady Michelle Obama, pointed out one day in one of her speeches that it's the power of one that makes a difference. And this power of one is like one person can make a big difference in a vote. It's not about, it's not all about peace in the midst of wartime. Mitt Romney pointed out in tonight's debate, and President Obama was, making his points as well when it came to war. But I heard, as even my sister friend Kimberly pointed out in Lipstick Radio here, is that these buzzwords like peace and bringing, connecting international relations and affairs, I really want us to be careful, America. And this is for our young people, and you know how I do. I bridge my young and my old so we can all kick it. But this is for all of us to make really, really, really close assessments and paying attention. When you start dropping buzzwords that you never even mention, that you don't even talk about, that you don't even think about really. When you have a candidate that says things over and over and over, and peace, 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 for real. Mitt Romney does not come in peace, nor does he come to the table for peace talks. Now, our dear brother Kofi Annan has stood up many times in our country's history during his term at the United Nations. And so has a lot of other leaders, known and unknown, in the UN arena. So I don't even want to bring our foreign leaders into this American conversation in this moment. And the reason why is because this election is about America. It's about the United States. And yes, we already know that we're in war zones in other countries, specifically Africa. The Middle East is a part of Africa. And we're in other countries in a war zone, coming in and out. Whether Iraq has been won or lost, or democracy in Egypt is on a rise, there are certain things that in our country we have to come back and pay attention to. And this close attention is this year's election. So Mitt Romney and President Barack Obama, when we talk about peace talks, more so Mitt Romney, when you talk about peace talks, you really have to walk the walk consistently. What really puts me on edge and raises, you know, the hairs on the back of my neck and in the middle of my afro is the fact that in this moment in time, you are putting my people, my family, my community, my poor people, which when you said the word poor, I felt like you had to reach for it. Like you had to really reach for that word. Which means, do you really respect the poor? Do you really respect people who are disenfranchised? And as some of the issues that were brought up earlier when it came to poor people, which it hasn't been a lot of talk, and that's what I'm talking about. We racing all around these issues with foreign policies and affairs. What about home? This last debate, the final round, part 3, a dear friend of mine behind that camera said it really felt like this particular debate was speaking to those who have investments. Come on, America. It's a business. This country's big, big, big business. Down to social welfare. It's big business. Down to the prison industrial complex systems. Big business. Down to education and technology, innovation. Even though we're bringing things that inspire our country and build entrepreneurship, we can't forget that this corporation is a big business. So let's get in the habit of talking about big business doing good things for people who can hardly do anything because they can't afford it. And talking to a college student tonight, Mariah, she said, you know, it really disturbs me that I want to go to school, but I can't pay for it. And the way the budget cuts have affected us, and this wasn't mentioned in the debates, the way the budget cuts have affected our youth, our young people, because their parents can no longer even afford their savings. Their savings could have been gutted and cut because they lost their homes and they're fighting to live. Not to mention put their son or their daughter back in school, to keep them in school. So I really want you to step up, even though the debates are over. These conversations about domestic affairs, issues that affect the fabric of all of America at this point. Because even millionaires are watching their pocketbooks like, you know, money ain't loose no more. And loose lips sinking ships is how I felt when Mitt Romney kept talking about Syria or China or the relationships with China. And he started talking about, you know, some of the trade wars. Let's be real. And let's face it, America. Let's really face what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a country in a situation that wasn't merely mentioned tonight as much as it should have been, or that it could have been in tonight's final round of the debates. And that issue is how this all started. Back in 2002, 2004, when we were looking at electing a new leadership, a new president, as well as a new Congress, a new assemblyman or woman, all of these different issues, propositions, everything. And I'm repeating. I mean, if they can repeat the same thing over and over, I'm going to repeat the same thing over and over. This ain't nothing new. Historically, all of these jobs that Mitt Romney is talking about restoring are the same jobs he has outsourced in America. And he signed those trade agreements along with, in agreement with the Bush administration. And the other thing is that, be it President Obama talking about, you know, the war zone and drones, we've seen it, even Code Pink. These women have been all around the country talking and protesting against the war, but not so much the war that we're at war, it's the methods. It's our tactics of how we're fighting and engaging in wars that put America on alert. These engagements include drones. They include new machinery. They include new technology and robots that are watching us every day. They watching me, y'all. I feel like a little Jill Scott in my head. They watching me, y'all. They watching you. Watching you. Watching me. They are watching us. And it's real. These are things that is a part of the American Intelligence Committee. These are things that we buy new laptops and HD TVs every time one come out. I mean, I got a new phone too. You got an iPhone, I got an iPhone. We got FaceTime. We're so engaged that I just don't want us to get so caught up that we miss this moment. We miss this time to talk about issues that are really affecting our country. The power of one person and the power of you and the power of me can supersede the power of having one government that wants to control and manipulate a country to go in one direction. And the reason I say that too, and I'm going to come back, I'm not so much harping on President Barack Obama tonight, because I think he finally is starting to regain his sense of self as to where he stands and why he started in the first place. And for that, Mr. President, thank you. We needed a brother. We needed a man. We needed a president to stand on his own too. In some cultures, they say kahunas. In other cultures, they say you got to man up. In some cultures, they say you just got to bring your A game. In some moments, in some circles, they say, you know, I just want you to be authentic and be real so that the people can connect. And right now, I think that the American people, more so than anything, be it a debate or be it getting out the vote or whatever the issue may be, it's about having a human connection that people can trust. Trust enough to question. Not trust enough to hush, but trust enough to question. And right now, you know, as I start to wrap up this commentary, some of the points that were made when Romney made me laugh, and when he was talking about, you know, people vote for peace. For real? For real? Come on, son. I'm going to have to give you, come on, son. Okay. When he said people vote for peace, come on, people, again, there's a disconnect. Because the only time I find him speaking about solidarity issues is when he's doing a buy-in. And I am not to be bought or sold. Slavery, as I know it and as my ancestors know it, is over. And I think that it's time for us as a people, period, to break away from being okay with the whole routine of big business governments and people like Mitt Romney and other corporations and just leadership. I don't care if you're an elected official or not. When you buy into corporations and you sell out your constituents, Houston, we got a problem. We got a serious, serious, serious problem. So I'm saying this because I love you. I love the people. I love my people. I can't say that on, you know, it's still aired. So I love my people enough to let you know when it's time to say hell no. And this is that time. This is that moment where you have to stop and think about your individual actions and its responsibility for a whole generation right now. So we can do that, and if we can look at some of the comments that they've made, and when I say they, the candidates, both President Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, talking about sanctions, it really disturbs me, because diplomatic relations and sanctions, I even recall my trip to Africa before the 2004 elections, way before 2004. And at that time, be it Clinton or the Bush administration, Daddy Bush or the son Bush, when they were involved in foreign affairs, they wrecked America. They wrecked America. Again, they wrecked, American government had wrecked America. And when I say that, it's because the presidential leadership did not keep their word. And a man or a woman without his or her word has no substance. It has no measure. We're human. So if I can't trust your word, then, which is another disturbing point, which Mitt Romney had made, is that he wanted to improve diplomatic relations, hold China accountable. You have to ask yourself, talking about the counterfeit products and currency and markets. I mean, you ask any Californian, any American, do they shop at Walmart? Have they ever shopped at Walmart? Have you ever shopped at Target? Have you ever shopped downtown in the garment district, be it New York City or Los Angeles? I guarantee they're going to shop in these places because it was made in China, India, Philippines, so on, so on, so on, to get a cheaper consumer good. Cheaper meaning affordable. Because right now, times is hard in these streets. People need to really go to different places. And if it was American made, it could be American made. But when you started and you voted to outsource manufacturing, outsourcing manufacturing actually did a doozy on the consumer. So you can't retract this overnight here. It's too much money involved. You know this. I'm not telling you nothing you don't know. So think about what you're saying before you speak it. And for those Americans who are getting off on your rhetoric about peace and family and relations, I just say to you, America, just read. Go ahead and read. Read about some of these trade agreements, and read about the beginning, the epitome, the beginning of outsourcing, and how that has just shaped and reshaped America. So we gone from outsourcing in early 2000 back to insourcing to save our freaking country. And hello, China is a freaking dictatorship. It's not a democracy. So are you telling me that you're going to force China to do something different? Come on, son. Come on. Let's be intelligent here. And people, voters, let's have common sense in the midst of this shenanigans. Absurd. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. If you're an undecided voter, I'm just telling you right now, do not drink that Kool-Aid, because be it China or any other country, when it comes to outsourcing and now insourcing, we're going to have to do some work. We're going to have to rebuild our own factories here in America to make sure that insourcing has a direct pipeline to consumers and business owners, so that this trade is directly related and touched and seen by the hands of those people, be it workers or actually people who own the business owners who own companies. If not, this is another great speech. And this is another great contract. But this is a contract, America, that I really don't want to see us lose. We need jobs. We need an overhaul in education. We need an overhaul in the prison industrial complex system. We need to take our babies, our children, our sons, our daughters out of prison and put them back in the classroom. We can't get people off of welfare. We can't get them 20 mil or whatever, however many million people on welfare, off welfare, until we get some job training skills. I mean, these are some people old and new to the welfare system. So there's a lot of reform to happen, and we can't have reform if we don't have a budget. And so before I go, I'm going to close because I know I'm rambling, but the most important thing is that we cannot look at America as a divided country. We have to come together. We got to pull our communities together. We have to pull our races together. We have to call a spade and fear not what the outcome is going to be if we're speaking and dealing in truth. It's just that time. It's the time we're living in. We have to be authentic. We have to be spiritual and grounded in our activism. And most importantly, we got to have common sense, people. We really have to have common sense. So all this pressure and all this chaos, I do not want a representative that's going to be our face of our country, of the quote-unquote free world. Well, free world later on that one. We cannot have a representative, you know, jet setting around the world with one person or one thing in mind, be it the religion, a Mormon religion, of, you know, capitalizing off of that, or capitalizing off of companies and trade, or capitalizing off of, you know, stealing an election. How about that? I mean, do we really want another doozy when we have all the signs? All the signs. So if all the signs are in place, how about we just read and pay attention to the signs? If it says stop, stop. If it's yellow, yield. If it's green, go. And if it's red, stop. Take some time, think about it, ask some questions, chit-chat with some friends, call a 1-800 number, get the facts. I don't know. Fill in the blank. But we know what we have to do, and what we have to do is we have to be active voters. If you were inspired by Egypt, we too are a people who are fighting for our democracy. The only difference is we're not in the streets right now. And that's where I'm going to go. I'm about to go to the streets. I'm about to do some door knocking. I'm about to do some have some conversations with everyday people. Undecided voters. Voters who have decided, but they're still feeling compromised and uneasy. And I think that says a lot for the type of times that we're living in. I'm ready to save this planet, y'all. And for that, I know that we have to get out there and vote. We have to vote on November 6th. We can't even be smeared or caught up in these presidential elections. But we do need to pay attention to what the candidates are saying. It's very, very, very urgent. So in closing, we must be open and honest. Yes, we must be open and honest. And we have to bring America back to some type of focus point. Like, this election is for the people. So let's get involved, people. Get involved. I'm your girl, Maleena. Thank you for listening to me. I know I was rambling. Please give us feedback.